With a ranking of 21, your Blue Devils come into today's matchup with a record of 1 win and 0 losses. Here are their starters. At guard from Holly, Michigan, number 2, Caitlin Smith. Guard out of Fort Wayne, Indiana, number 3, Taryn Klein. Point guard from Oxford, Michigan, number 15, Sherilyn Bennett. Forward from East Lansing, Michigan, number 32, Danielle Hansen. Guard out of Saginaw, Michigan, number 34, Nicole Buckingham. Your Blue Devils are coached by Colleen Biggs in her 3rd season. She is assisted by Haley Patton, Zach Johnson, and special assistant Olivia Lynn.
Welcome into LTSN, our second of this Blue Devil Classic and our second of this season opening weekend. Greetings, everyone. I'm Jason Ross Jr., producer Kia Titus once again behind the screens tonight. The Blue Devils hoping to improve to 2-0. Today they'll match up against Point Park, coming in from Point Park, Pennsylvania, about a 4.5 hour drive. They lost last night to Michigan Dearborn, an improved Michigan Dearborn team. The Blue Devils coming off a big 38-point victory over Ohio Christian last night. Starting 5 on the floor for LTU in those sweet alternate black uniforms that they are debuting on the floor this afternoon. Quick turnover there. Caitlin Smith, Taryn Klein, Sherilyn Bannis, Nicole Buckingham, and the East Lansing native Danielle Hansen out on the floor for your LTU Blue Devils. You're watching the LTU Sports Network, your home for Blue Devil basketball all season long. This is our second of 15 broadcasts. As a little step back jumper there taken by Bailey Mook, who's in the starting lineup today for Point Park, comes up well short, and the two-sport athlete, Sherilyn Bannis, can race out the other way and try to get the offense set up, which he did such a nice job of yesterday. Ball movement was on point yesterday for this Blue Devil team as Taryn Klein comes up short. Hit a couple of threes yesterday. Caitlin Smith, Bailey Mook, Carly Lutz, Michelle Burns, and that's your starting 5 out on the floor for Point Park this afternoon. Burns had a nice performance yesterday. Here she is trying to get the offense set up for Point Park. Now 0-1 on the year under Tony Grenick, who's in his 8th season at the helm. First-year assistant coach Andrew Kurzowski, and the first bucket of the afternoon comes about a minute 20 seconds in from Burns, Bailey Mook rather, getting that one to go. And now the Blue Devils go out, download to Danielle Hansen, who turns and spins the other way, comes up short. 0 for 2 start for the Blue Devils. This is a Point Park team that went 17-11 last season. We feel they have a significantly different roster, though, from last year, as Taryn Klein goes into traffic, a nice denial, and a nice job of getting back. Buckingham, who had 27 yesterday, couldn't finish, but Hansen could. Danielle Hansen, the 5'11 junior from East Lansing, started in all 31 games last season. She'll have a similar significant role this year for Kylie Biggs' team. Does a nice job defensively there. The Blue Devils can start back out the other way. They were able to push the tempo yesterday. 0 for 2 from deep now. Caitlin Smith off there. Back in the starting lineup. Kendall Fisher set to check in at the scores table along with Ariana Sanders. Looks like Jaden Eggleston also at the scores table for Point Park. They'll look down low here for Lutz, who finishes over top of Hansen. Lutz went 3 for 7 with 8 points yesterday. To go along with 6 boards. We'll see how that interior matchup goes with Lutz and Hansen today as Smith gets on the board with a 3. Took a couple attempts for the Blue Devils from downtown, but they knocked that down. That was a real perk for them in yesterday's matchup. LTU went 6 of 14 from downtown last year against Point Park in a 73-50 convincing victory over the Pioneers. That one slips through the 5-hole there, and still a 5-4 Blue Devil lead as the first substitution of the night comes in on both sides. Kendall Fisher, previously mentioned, her excellent debut yesterday in the Blue Devil uniform, her first collegiate performance in front of her family, went very well. Really electrified this crowd with her defensive ability that Coach Biggs spoke about after the game. Fisher finished with 13 points off the bench. That was second to Buckingham's 27 as Taryn Klein is charged with her first foul of the afternoon. They go in low, and once again it's Lutz. Buckingham, Bannis open, calling for it in the paint, but they go outside. Takes a high hop off the rim. Buckingham, an offensive board, did well. Couldn't hook it up and in. Bailey Mook, a player that head coach Tony Grenick has spoken about and spoken highly of preseason. Here is Michelle Burns. Goes in low to Sanders. Very competitive, energetic, and feisty player. Bannis on the job there defensively, and push-off was called, an offensive foul. Blue Devils will retake possession. That'll go in the scorebook as a turnover. Something that the Blue Devils were able to do very well yesterday, forcing turnovers. They forced a couple of offensive fouls and offensive violations, travels, carries, and really feasted off of those turnovers for the entire 4 quarters as Hope Dollaride will make her way in now. Versatile junior. Fisher with a nice aware bounce pass, and Bannis knocking down the 3. Didn't see much of that last year. If she's added that to her game, can really be an asset to this offense. I mean, she was not afraid to take the shot there, triggered it and hit it. 8-6 Blue Devil lead early here. Sanders fires and hits to knot things right back up. As Bannis gets direction from Coach Biggs, who played at Tiffin University. Coached her assistant, Kaylee Patton, at Tiffin for time during that period. They both come from Ohio. And it's Fisher knocking down the shot there. The Indiana native gets on the board. Another quick start for Fisher. Sierra Dawson also on the floor for Point Park right now. Bannis waiting for the offense to get set up. They spoke about how they kind of inserted new wrinkles into the offense and defense in the preseason as Dollaride knocks down her first bucket of the afternoon. Found her first points in the second half yesterday. Inserted quickly here. Under 4 to play in the opening quarter. They did this so well yesterday. Fisher in particular did this so well yesterday. Nice little double clutch and the finish. Fisher with 4, and the Blue Devils are up 6. On a little bit of a run here. Going off a screen and pulling up there, Burns. And this appears to be staying with Point Park.
Into the game for the Pioneers, number 5, Bailey Mook.
Bailey Mook back in for the Pioneers along with Caitlin Smith. 2 Caitlin Smiths on the floor this afternoon, one on both sides. Although one wears 11 and the other wears 2. The one wearing number 2 is probably the one you're more familiar with. Caitlin Smith in the Blue Devil uniform, on the Holly, Michigan native. Out on the floor at the moment. Got the start. She's already knocked down the 3. Tough pull up there from Burns, but an offensive board. Lutz playing well early down low. Who will this stay with? It'll go to the Blue Devils as Landgolf will check in. Set a career high with 10 points yesterday. Really nice guard rotation for this Blue Devil team. You can go with Landgolf, you can go with Banis, you can go with Fisher, Klein, Smith. All of those players kind of alternating in and out at the 1 and the 2. There's Landgolf right on cue, knocking it down from distance. Couple of threes for the Blue Devils, and they find themselves with a 9-point first quarter lead. It's a pleasure to have you back here for the 2nd day in a row of our Blue Devil Classic. LTU looking to go 2-0 in this tip-off classic for the 2nd year in a row. First foul on Banis, and Burns will go to the line here. Shot 71% at the free throw line last season. Really gained trust from this coaching staff and early in her career. Started 22 of 27 games, almost 30 minutes a game last season as a freshman. The Devils still with an 8-point lead, and Kendall Fisher takes a 3. Quick release, Buckingham cutting and finishing. Spoke with Nicole after yesterday's win. Such a great leader on this team in her senior season, her highly anticipated senior season. Asked her about the 27-point performance, and she gave her teammates the credit. Said at the end of the day, you should be talking to them. Touched on all of the good passes she was able to get. Such a humble personality, great family. Gets the board here. Now she'll give it to Banis, who wants to push the pace. Dollaride, Landgolf, Fisher all running. Banis will opt to pull out here. Fisher open again from that same spot. Off the mark. And the Pioneers playing a bit of a slower pace than what the Blue Devils saw yesterday against Ohio Christian. Ohio Christian really had an emphasis on pushing things. They were able to do that at one point in the 2nd quarter. This has been a much quicker start for LTU today. They were tied 17-17 after yesterday's first quarter with Ohio Christian. It's been a bit different. The nerves are completely gone today, and they have a double-digit lead. High arcing jumper is off. The intense Tony Grenick calling out the signal. About a 10-second difference between shot and game. Another offensive board. And the Blue Devils will have it with the shot clock off here. Landgolf can slow it down. 2 point guards on the floor right now. Five. 2. Banis will have to take it. Then she got fouled with about half a second on the shot clock. The game clock, rather. Banis will go to the line. Point Park did just about everything they could there for approximately 22 and a half seconds. And that is a possession that Point Park will love to have, would want to have back. They did just about everything they could for a solid 22.5 seconds. And Banis was hacked on the arm, and she'll get a couple of free throws with no time left on the first quarter clock. And a chance to extend the lead to double digits. Half a second will go up. That's the type of possession defensively that you just can't have this afternoon if you're the Pioneers. And she does, in fact, extend it to double digits. Virtually no time left on the clock in the first quarter. It's a 10-point first quarter lead for the Blue Devils after one on the Lawrence Tech Sports Network. Your home for Blue Devil Athletics. We'll be back after a short breather. 10-point lead for the women, looking to improve to 2-0 on this Saturday afternoon. Welcome back to LTSN after a 21-11 first quarter. Very good defensive performance overall from the Blue Devils in that opening quarter, limiting Point Park to 11. Kendall Fisher and company got off to a nice start, slithering their way through traffic there, but out of the reach of Caitlin Smith and a backcourt violation. Hanson makes her way back in, started this one. Davis also in for Point Park, a player who thought about transferring in the offseason but decided to stay, and her coaches really liked what she's done in the preseason. Can the Blue Devils get the tempo going that we saw in the second quarter? They were tied after one yesterday, holding a double-digit lead after one today. Second of a back-to-back. Banis fouled along the baseline there by Ariana Sanders, the pesky defender. In low, and Banis finishes. Hit a three in the first quarter, something that we didn't see much of last year. And she is off to a really nice start. A nice vocal leader on this team. Right on cue, you see her barking out the orders defensively as a long distance shot from Davis answers there. It's 23-14 now. This Blue Devil team was picked second in the preseason poll, behind Indiana Tech. Indiana Tech has yet to play a game. Blue Devils obviously off to a 1-0 start. Looking around the WAC, a couple of teams have gotten underway. Rochester off to a 4-0 start. Michigan Dearborn looked improved last night. Dearborn now 2-0 on the season after their win over Ohio Christian today. A very convincing win. Cornerstone, Madonna, and UNOH all off to 0-1 starts around the conference. Blue Devils will get conference play underway next Thursday. We'll have that one for you. As Siena Heights will come into town for a 7 p.m. tip-off. 23-14 Blue Devil lead, second quarter here. Another offensive foul called on Point Park. That's the second time we've seen that. Price and Buckingham both check in. Burns with a nifty handle, but threw it away. And the miscommunication the other way between Fisher and the cutting Klein. Jaron Klein had a nice start to the season yesterday in the starting lineup, a player who can really be a streaky shooter at times, and a player who can really breathe life into this building when she is on. Defending there. Davis looking for her second three. Comes up short, had it on the line, but couldn't hit it. Now Buckingham galloping, had 27 yesterday. Bounces to Fisher, who takes. Comes up short again from distance. Fisher said that Coach Kai's message before yesterday's game was to play together, and they certainly did that with the ball movement. Buckingham, who has the ball right now, spoke about that ball movement, saying that, you know, it's just more fun when the ball is moving around like that. And it really gets the rhythm of the offense going, as we saw. Turnover there. Book will check back in on the Point Park side of things. Second quarter was where things really took off, though, for LTU yesterday. And Biggs said in the post game that, you know, I think we just picked it up on the defensive end. We were getting beat, but once we picked it up on that defensive end, that led to easy transition offense for us. Today, I think the nature of this game has been a tad bit slower, more half-court sets. Ohio Christian might have been responsible also for that up and down pace, knowing they did want to get up and down. Blue Devils can play this half-court game, though. They run their sets very well. Bannis will look for her second three, comes up short, gets her own rebound. Couldn't quite get the roll. A nice effort play. It's a fundamental lesson from coaches to follow your own rebound. Bannis did just that there. The reasons why you do have to love a player like that on the coaching staff for this LTU team. Zach Johnson, Kaylee Patton, head coach Kylie Biggs looking on. Nice jumper there from Mook. Now a 7-point LTU lead. Just 2 points in the quarter for LTU. They've struggled shooting the ball in the seconds. And this one will go back the other way on a foul. The door is open a bit here for Point Park. As Landgolf will check in for Smith at the 2. Sanders, now Lutz, who had a nice opening quarter, using her size and strength again down there on the block. Going against Rachel Price, who's wearing the number 42 this afternoon. Blue Devils debuting these very slick black uniforms. Gotta love those. It's Lutz at the free throw line. Gets the roll there. Lutz shot just 61% from the stripe last season. Last year was her first with the team. Tallest player on the floor most of the time she's out there at 6'3". Listed as a forward. Kind of plays a center role. Hanson. Vanis not afraid to trigger from downtown this afternoon. Hanson, a nice effort to save. The East Lansing native keeps it in play. Now Buckingham from just inside the arc. Sanders the board. A 2-possession game going the other way with under 5 to play in the opening half. Lutz posting up down low on Dallery. Dallery did a nice job to reject that entry. And that'll keep them outside. 18-footer is down. That time from Burns. Just 2 points in this quarter with 3:45 left for LTU. They've got to hit their first rough patch offensively of the season. And head coach Kylie Biggs calls a timeout, up 3. We'll go to a break here on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. Shooting struggles have been evident in this second quarter for LTU. It's been much different than yesterday's second quarter. Saw them go on a 25-3 run to end it in the first half against Ohio Christian. Landgolf triggers again. Buckingham soars in for the board, but it's the height of Lutz that prevails once again. 87 points for LTU last night. Season high last year was 121 against the Great Lakes Christian team, that will be in town on November 7th. But obviously that's pretty atypical when you're looking at the averages. You're hovering around 90s, 80s, average 71 a season ago, but the highs for a team around the league, probably you're looking at high 80s. So that was a big offensive output yesterday, and they haven't been able to find that clip in the second quarter, but Emily Landgolf has continued a very nice start to the season. Her sophomore year really learned under Sherilyn Banis last year, and she's impressing this coaching staff and impressing these fans in the early goings of 2018. Banis looks. Buckingham shoots and hits. Nicole Buckingham shot over 30% from downtown last season. Led the way against Point Park a season ago with 18 points. Could have probably had more than 27 last night. Didn't play most of the fourth quarter in what was really garbage time. We're being realistic of last night. She'll pull again, and she'll hit again. Timeout called. Buckingham heating up. Quick 7 points for LTU. Tony Grenick wants to talk things over And we'll take another break on LTSN. 30-20, lead is back up to double digits. A quick spurt for this Blue Devil offense. Welcome back to LTSN. LTU with a 30-20 lead after that burst from Nicole Buckingham. They'll have to get back defensively here after a bobbled ball leads to a jumper that goes down from Caitlin Smith. Team captain and a senior on this Point Park team. Blue Devils at the other end go down low to Hanson, who has to get her own board there off the side of the backboard. Shot clock didn't reset, and Point Park can try to dribble it back up here, down 8. They were within striking distance for the majority of yesterday's game against Michigan Dearborn. They kind of unraveled in the fourth quarter. A game that was competitive through 3, but Michigan Dearborn exploded in the fourth, going 4 for 9 from downtown after going 3 for 20 through 3 quarters. It was really interesting. They once again find themselves having difficulty defending the three-point line. Inside, though, there is Dollaride, who scored in that first quarter, couldn't hit there, and half a minute to play in the first half. After what was a gloomy start to the second quarter, the Blue Devils are looking to end this half on a high note. A 9-4 run for LTU at the moment. 5-second difference between shot and game. They had to hoist it and did. Lutz from downtown, 2 seconds. Banis. And that'll send us to the locker room. 30-22 after the first half for the Blue Devils. Kylene Biggs probably won't be totally pleased with that opening half, but the Blue Devils will come back out in the second, and we'll have more action for you coming up here on LTSN after halftime. We'll be back in just under 15 minutes on your home for Blue Devil Athletics. Welcome back into LTSN. Blue Devils looking for a 2-0 start to the season. Up 30-22 after a nice ending to that first half. Behind a couple of threes from Nicole Buckingham. And first possession of the half will be Point Park, and Burns getting us underway here. So going to the corner for Tyra James, watched by the aforementioned Buckingham. Blue Devils in these nice, slick black jerseys tonight, the alternate uniforms. A reminiscence of the early 2000s Philadelphia 76ers. I'm liking them. Fitting for how much excitement has gone into this year. It was very nice watching this team yesterday as Hansen gets on the boards and gives the Blue Devils their first bucket of the half. It was very nice yesterday watching how calm they were overall, despite all of the excitement that had to have been bottled up after 18 practices without a game going up against each other. Kind of an inherent obstacle in the early parts of a season. A nice start to the half, 2 for 2 for Point Park. The three-pointer makes it a 5-point game, and they're looking to press up here. This is an intense Point Park team. They've talked in the preseason about wanting to press. Buckingham not afraid there to go right at them and right into the hole, and finishing there to give the Blue Devils their 34th points of the afternoon. Charge holds. We're going to tie up. Buckingham hits the deck, and the Devils will regain possession here with 8:24 left in the third. Now what will we have here? Looks like they're going to reverse the call as the referees convene. We have a jump ball here. We're going to have a couple of free throws for Tyra James. Coming up on the LTU Sports Network next week, Siena Heights will come to town along with Wright Stake Lake. Thursday and Saturday matchups for you here on LTSN next week. We once again find ourselves in a 5-point game. Smith fouled out on the perimeter by James, who tried to jump the passing lane there. Dennis, the leader at the point guard spot, directing things here. Two-sport athlete, softball player, and a point guard, and it's Hansen down low. Calm work in the half-court set. Blue Devils are back up 7. Smith, one of 3 seniors on this Point Park team, carving and diving and hooking and getting fouled. Back-to-back possessions with free throws here for Point Park. Foul will go against Taryn Klein, her third. Kendall Fisher getting set to check in here along with Emily Landgolf. You see a guard swap here. Kylie Biggs can keep her guards really fresh throughout the season with all the rotations that she can do, the options that she can go to with the 1 and the 2. And you kind of expect the type of production that you'll get when you plug people in. All very consistent players, but an offensive board off a free throw here, something the coach never likes. And a fresh shot clock for Point Park. Sanders into the paint. Hansen held her ground. Tie up, going the way of the Blue Devils. Now foul called rather, as they'll go against Sanders. Sanders played an intense game last night. This is an intense Point Park team that is now in a 2-3 zone. And the Blue Devils try to find some creases on the outside here. Open spot. Banis finding a spot in the zone. Had a nice shooting start since then. She's kind of cooled off a little bit. Still a 6-point lead for LTU. For the second straight game, Point Park finds themselves hanging around in striking distance. A game that their opponents, in this case obviously LTU, has had control of for the most part. Point Park only down 6, unable to hit the jumper there to potentially move them within 4 was Lutz, and here's Fisher, hesitation, nice go move, into the paint, Hansen couldn't finish. Buckingham tooling away down there and getting fouled. She's taken an individual role kind of really since the midway point of the second quarter. I say midway point, I say midway point. You really look to probably 3 minutes left in that second quarter when this Blue Devil team began to score. There were only 2 points scored in the first, I want to say 7.5 minutes of that second quarter. Buckingham hit back-to-back threes, and since then the Blue Devils have amped up their offensive play and trying to get it done on the defensive end here. Hansen pulls down the board. Not much opportunities in transition this afternoon, but Buckingham in rhythm off the mark there. The intensity of Kendall Fisher in the backcourt here defensively. She can hang with players in the backcourt. There it is, and foul called. Will they give this call to a timeout on the Pioneers? Looks like the Blue Devils will have the ball when we come back here on LTSN. Quick breather, LTU up 8 on Point Park. Second game of the LTU Tip-Off Classic. Welcome back to LTSN. Daniel Hansen, Sherilyn Banis, Kendall Fisher, Landgolf, and Buckingham, the 5 on the floor right now for LTU. Dribbling it up here. Burns, quick call. A foul away from the ball against Sanders. And a very quick, abrupt ending to that possession out of the timeout. Foul was on Fisher, by the way, after that play that led into the previous timeout. Here is Fisher. Nice job in the passing lane that time from Burns. Leaking out here and finishing there, Burns. Still a 6-point game. Sanders, Burns, Smith, Lutz, and James out there in the 2-3 zone. Look right now for Point Park. Trying to close on shooters. Hansen goes to work in the paint and draws the foul. Kind of one of those controversial defensive plays in college basketball over the last year or so. You really have to keep your arms all the way straight up, or else they will call that foul. Here's Hansen at the line. A player who shot 61% at the line a season ago, knocks down the first. The molecular and cell biology major goes 2 for 2 and gets the lead back up to 8. Dollaride back in. She could play a consistent role off the bench this year. Taryn Klein in for Landgolf. wondered coming in to today, could the Blue Devils perform even better than they did last night as Sanders knocks down the jumper to once again make it a 6-point game. You know, it's kind of been flip-flopped today, though. Yesterday, first quarter was good, but probably a bit slower than the second quarter for LTU's offense. Today, a bit of an opposite setting as Klein made a nice move there, stepping to her left, but came up well short on a tough shot there. Nicole Buckingham said yesterday after the game that, you know, we have a mentality of starting early, start early, and finish hard, and that was the goal yesterday for LTU. They currently find themselves in what is now officially a tight basketball game, a 4-point game with under 5 to play in the third. Dollaride called for a travel. Double teamed there in the 2-3 zone, kind of working for the Pioneers here. Bailey Mook, Michelle Burns, Ariana Sanders, Tyra James, Carly Lutz out there. They lost it, 2-on-1. Banis with Fisher, blocked. Fisher the second chance, and a couple of free throws on the way here. Bailey Mook charged with the foul there. A couple of the men's team players for LTU sitting courtside, looking on, supporting their girls. Men started the season off with a win earlier this week as Fisher knocks down the free throw. One of 2 Indiana natives on this Blue Devil team. The new number 12 for LTU. Gets the lead back up to 6. Sanders watched by Banis here. Caitlin Smith couldn't get the roll, and a foul called in the subsequent rebound. Sanders looks over to the score table, wondering how much foul she has. That's her 4th, and looks like she'll have to check out here. And the bonus now, Buckingham, a very reliable free throw shooter, will head back to the stripe. Sanders, the energy she brings to Point Park could be a significant loss. She'll probably have to sit the rest of this third. Banis knocks down the free throw, gets the lead back up to 7. Breyer makes her way in here for Point Park, a player that head coach Tony Grenick really likes for his Pioneers. Here's Buckingham again, and hits again. Lead is up to 8. Can the Blue Devils spark together some sort of a run here? 4 in a row after Point Park pulled within 4. Felt like kind of a big point in the game there. And it favored LTU, but Tyra James says we're not going anywhere for the moment. Now back to a 5-point game with Fisher bringing it up the floor. Into the paint, Hansen had a runway there, but might have given it up a bit prematurely. She got past the initial defense, decided to shovel it though to Buckingham. Blue Devils will ultimately get the ball back here with 20 seconds still left on the shot clock. That ball was tipped on the inbounds play, looking for Buckingham. Blue Devils find their ball movement against this 2-3 zone. They've struggled shooting it, but the second chance opportunities have been plentiful. And Kendall Fisher at 5'2" there, climbing up for the board amongst the trees and giving the Blue Devils a 7-point lead. Quick shot the other way is short. Hansen, the forward, will dribble it up the other way, looking to push. Finds Price. A couple of tall players in the lineup at the 4 and the 5 right now for the Blue Devils. Smith finishes. Buckingham again finding herself in a chance for a second chance bucket, leading to yet another attempt at the free throw line. Foul was called on Lindsey Breyer.
At the line, shooting 2 for the Blue Devils. 34 at home, Buckingham.
Sometimes when players go to the line and on a consistent fashion like this, that can open up their ability to shoot the ball, ability to see the rim, and get the rhythm down with that jumper. Buckingham found her rhythm at the end of the first half. Can she begin to piece something together here at the end of the third? Blue Devils up 7 after those free throw attempts. Seems like Point Park will not go away. Burns trying to go back into the cup once again in a rather methodical fashion. And was she hacked? No, they'll say it was a block. And with 20 seconds still left on the shot clock, a run, prototypical inbounds play, and now a foul is called down low. LTU still fouls to give though. Rachel Price is called for that foul. Now Price finds herself defending down there against Lutz. That was kind of a mismatch that Lutz took advantage of against the Blue Devil forwards in that first half. Blue Devil defense in the interior has been more stout in this third quarter. Left of a screen here, Burns finds a three-pointer attempt from James. Off the mark, James, a player who can knock that down and stretch the floor for this Point Park team. Here's Buckingham, turning, shooting, off the iron. More second chance opportunities. Floater couldn't drop from Fisher. Here come the Pioneers. They don't push very often. They'll curl it back out here and reset. Under a minute to play in the third quarter. Offensive foul on what feels like a big possession there. A 7-point game. The Blue Devils can go the other way and with a 3 perhaps make it a double-digit affair. Sierra Dawson comes in for the Pioneers. Maybe a 2-for-1 opportunity here. It's Hansen. 9-point lead. A 1.5 difference between game and shot here for the Pioneers. It's a slow developing offensive style that they run, looking to get their sets in. Deep into the shot clock once again. Burns, James, rattles around and out. Won't leave much time here. Nice effort from Taryn Klein at the end of the quarter. Just not enough time here. It'll be 50-41. Most likely here at the end of the quarter. Late substitution, a very late substitution as Bannis comes in for Buckingham. Admirable third quarter performance from Buckingham. That'll do it for 3. 50-41. Big ending. What felt like an important ending to that third quarter after Point Park was within 5. And the Blue Devils score 4 in a row to get the lead back up to 9 at the end of 3 on LTSN. Your home for Blue Devil Athletics. You're watching Blue Devil Women's Basketball. We'll be back in a minute. A look at head coach Kylene Biggs there in her third season. 25-7 was the mark last year. Now into what most consider probably the most highly anticipated season of her tenure, with assistant coach Kaylee Patton and Zach Johnson. Great group of coaches, always fun to talk to, great personalities. Always love when I have the opportunity to chat with those guys. 16-4 in the conference last season. Can't wait to get conference play underway. 12-4 on the home floor last year, off to a 1-0 start. As a little bit over-anxious there is Caitlin Smith. I still don't think we've had the two Caitlin Smiths on the floor at the same time yet. Could be a bit confusing if that does happen, and when it does happen, I'll make sure to clarify. Here is Banis going back out to Klein. Landgolf, who's had a really nice start to her sophomore campaign. Hansen, the junior, carving and finishing. Coach Biggs, a Michigan native, spent her college years, though, and early coaching years in Ohio at Tiffin University. Klein hasn't had as many looks as yesterday. Here she is, thought about it. Nice closing defense again in that 2-3 look. Down low, though, Hansen will head to the free throw line again. Hansen had 10 points in that third quarter. 4 of 6 from the field. Looking to find 11 and 12 here. Buckingham led the way with 15 in that third quarter. Abby Davis into the paint. I mentioned Buckingham. She currently has a 24-point night, getting a breather with a 12-point lead at the moment for LTU. Another big night for Buckingham. She could average over 20 a game this year, perhaps well over 20 a game. I mean, 27 and through 3 quarters last night, and now 24 through 3 quarters today. I mean, we could be in for a lot of scoring from her this year. It could be a real show. Saw her and Kendall Fisher really be a nice duo last night. That could be a duo that we pronounce quite a bit this season. Hansen working and finishing there. Took a second, but it fell in. Had us on the edge of our seats there, but it eventually dropped, and the Blue Devils are now in control with a 13-point lead. Similar picture from last night for the Blue Devils, for the Pioneers rather. Feels like you're watching the same movie, kind of tight through 3 quarters, staying within striking distance. But now, in the 4th, they find their opponent with a double-digit lead on them. Timeout called here from Point Park as they try not to let this one slip through their fingers. LTU off to a nice start to the 4th, working it down low. That appears to be the strong suit in this afternoon's edition of LTU women's basketball here on LTSN. We'll be right back. Blue Devils looking to get off to a 2-0 start. Welcome back to LTSN, a 55-44 Blue Devil lead with 8 minutes to play in the second game of the season. It's a pleasure to have you here. I'm Jason Ross Jr. We'll be with you all season long, 15 total broadcasts, and we are pumped for basketball season to finally be back. Yesterday, I said this yesterday, but it truly did feel like Christmas morning when I woke up and knew that there was basketball going to be happening here at Don Riddler Fieldhouse. Driving baseline here, Fisher, but a tad bit over anxious and called for a travel. LTU coming off a program record-setting season in multiple facets. They were upset by Cornerstone on this floor in the WAC semifinal last season. Didn't get their shot at a championship game. They're looking to erase that history this year and win a regular season title and a conference title. And hopefully get that automatic bid into the NAIA Division II tournament in Iowa, where they traveled last year and wrapped up the season with a loss to, at the time, 12th ranked Hastings College. First 5 games are at home this season for LTU. Hoping that the home floor will treat them well. And obviously we're excited about that fact that we get to watch them here at home through the first 5 games. We'll have all 5 of those broadcasts for you. Can't make it in time, you can go back and watch the archived versions of the game on the LTU Athletics YouTube channel and the LTU Athletics Facebook page. Buckingham, feels like we've said her name so many times on offensive rebounds, doing so calmly there. Hansen in the paint, dishing, firing, Landgolf, crowd on their feet. Landgolf, she's worked on her game in the offseason, off to a brilliant start to the season. Blue Devils up 14 now. Momentum is brewing, and this one is slipping away from Point Park. 6:45 to play in the fourth. We'll be back. Welcome back to LTSN. A look at Sherilyn Bannis there, along with Taryn Klein, Landgolf, Buckingham, and Hansen on the floor and with smiles right now as they are up 14 on the visiting Pioneers. Pioneers have a difficult schedule, a challenging schedule, admittedly, from head coach Tony Grenick in terms of the travel that they're kicking the season off with, going up against tough opponents. It's 21st ranked Blue Devil team, giving them all they can handle this afternoon. Davis working down low, unable to finish. Buckingham sees a possible transition opportunity here, but Landgolf will pull it back out and wait for numbers. And she did, in fact, pick up the ball there. Double dribble called. Plenty of action around Blue Devil athletics today, with our men's and women's soccer teams traveling down to UNOH to face off against the Racers next week. We're super busy. Wednesday, big volleyball matchup, colossal matchup between our women going up against rival Madonna. Obviously a tough loss for our Blue Devil women the last time they faced Madonna, the Crusaders, out in Livonia, and those are a couple of teams that are up at the top of the WAC. LTU on a run here, having a nice week, our women's volleyball team, with a win earlier this week and a 5-setter over Indiana Tech. Well, the men's soccer team was up 1-0 earlier today. Later tonight, we'll have hockey for you right here on LTSN. I'll be on the call of Northwestern's D3 team going up against Blue Devil D3 team, and our ACHA team also, or NAI team also rather in action today. 12-point lead for LTU, under 6 to play. Looking for their second straight double-digit victory. U of M Dearborn also off to a 2-0 start. Rochester a 4-0 start around the WAC. As Smith pulls up in transition. Tony Grenick, a very intense personality on that Point Park sideline. He's really feeding all of the energy and jump that he possibly can muster into his team right now. And they definitely need it. As Price will check back in here for Hanson. Along with Fisher. Full court press. Disrupting Fisher momentarily. Nice pump and go from Bannis. A runway for Klein, and she's fouled. Came a bit gimpy there. Looks like she bumped knees with whoever that was that she collided with down in the paints. Appears to be walking it off. One of those common basketball injuries that are a lot more painful than it looks. Klein off on the first, still trying to shake off that knee bump. She was one of the better free throw shooters on this Blue Devil team last year, shooting about 80% from the line. Obviously a player who was in the starting lineup, so you look at that free throw percentage as she goes 1 for 2, and you think down the road when you get up against some of the tough opponents that you know will lead into tight stretches, tight games down the home stretch of games. That's the type of free throw percentage that you need. And she's not afraid to take it to the hole. On the sideline now, heading out and stretching out that knee instead of sitting down. Buckingham, a nice block in the paint on a driving Mook there, and the Blue Devils will go back the other way with possession. A defensive possession that Kylene Biggs will certainly be happy with. Devils with 59 points tonight, averaged 71 a season ago. Scored 87 last night. Buckingham off the offensive boards, though, have been a big part of this game in favor of LTU. Now Price can look here with a fresh shot clock. Buckingham can take a three and hit a three. 27 for Nicole again. Nicole Buckingham off to one of the better starts in the conference. Timeout called here by Coach Grenick. 62-49, the Blue Devil lead with under 5 to play, 4:01 to be exact here on LTSN. Your home for Blue Devil athletics. Blue Devils in cruise control right now, looking to finish this thing off, second day in a row of the LTU Tip-Off Classic here on LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. LTU looking to close it out for the second day in a row. Facing the full court pressure down the home stretch here. Fisher did it well to get the ball out of there. Now a 2-on-1, but Price might have looked up a bit early there and dribbled the ball off her foot, but was able to get a deflection there that will keep possession with LTU down on that end of the floor. Price, a transfer from Tiffin University. We detailed the close relationship with Tiffin University and this team with Coach Biggs and Coach Patton. Can Price be a force on the block this year? Nice move there from Fisher to capitalize at the cup. Had a nice time speaking with Kendall after yesterday's win. Said, you know, she was nervous going into her first game as a Blue Devil, and rightfully so. As Bannis cutting here, able to go off the glass, a bit too strong. Buckingham, how many times have we said that she is down there picking up offensive boards, and that's 29 now for Buckingham on the afternoon. But going back to Fisher, she said that she quickly got over those nerves and settled in, and that was apparent. Got off to a really quick start and made a quick impact on the floor, finishing with 13 points. Can't wait to watch her all year long. Jaden Eggleston, the freshman, in for Point Park, along with Lutz, making her way back in. This Blue Devil team ranked 21st in the NAIA Division II poll to start the season. Picked second in the WAC preseason poll. We'll have post-game coverage after this one. You can head over to the LTU Athletics Twitter page, the LTU Women's Basketball Twitter page, for all your coverage of the team this year, along with Facebook. Have coverage on there, obviously streaming simultaneously on Facebook and YouTube throughout the year. As Blue Devils come up short on a three there. Foul called with 2:34 left on the clock. One freshman, two sophomores, four juniors, two seniors on this year's Blue Devil team. Nicole Buckingham picks up her second there. Bailey Mook at the line here in the bonus. Can't wait for hockey tonight. We'll have that for you on LTSN. Doing some post-game interviews with Derek Blalock after this one. Catch all of the coverage on Fox Sports Detroit as well next Monday with our new LTU Sports Report. Almost 10 weeks in now, every Monday at 4:30 p.m. on Fox Sports Detroit, re-airing throughout the week on Fox Sports Detroit. A part of the big jump in coverage this year for all of your LTU sports across the board. Mentioned all of the games going on next week. Men's soccer tournament. Can't wait to call that one with Chase Kaufman next Saturday. Along with basketball next Saturday. Ooh, dazzling behind the back move there from Fisher. Went around the back again to the delight of the crowd. Foul called after that, and a timeout called after that. Putting on a bit of a show here for this Blue Devil crowd as they look to watch the final 2.5. Blue Devils up 12, looking to close it out on the home floor. You're watching LTSN. Welcome back to LTSN. Final 2.5 minutes now. Seconds of the first 5 that will be at home for the LTU Blue Devils. Banis looking on here, waiting for the offense to get set up. Fisher over to Buckingham, who has 29 tonight, deep into the shot clock here. Fisher crossing, driving, working, finishing. That was nifty. 68-54 now. Right past the defense. Hopping into the lane here at the other end, looking to answer Burns. The Blue Devils have gotten past this kind of full court pressure look. They've succeeded. They've lofted it over the top a couple of times and gotten into the transition game. Buckingham called for a travel there. Our excellent LTU crew on hands today. Producer Kia Titus. Back with you next Thursday for more women's basketball. The 3 is drained that time from Burns. It's kind of interesting, though, how much alternating these guards do between the 1 and the 2. Obviously, depends on the play call at times, who you're trying to get open, what are you looking to do. Blue Devils inserted new wrinkles this year into the offense. Klein in the paint, guard-to-guard action here. Klein fighting for the offensive board. Looks like that went off a white jersey. It did, in fact, go off of Mook, and the Blue Devils will get the ball back here with 2 seconds left on the shot clock. 51 seconds left in the game. Up 12, looking to hit the 70 mark again, and Buckingham hits the 30 mark. She's got 31, and the Blue Devils have a 14-point lead. She does it in such a calm fashion. She said yesterday she didn't even know that she had 27 until she looked at the scorecard afterwards, and I mean, that's kind of how it feels. So calm, so smooth, so composed. Senior playing like a senior. They'll need her to do that all year long. Offensive glass was a real asset for LTU today. Fisher behind the back. She'll curl it out and settle it down to the delight of her coach. Shot clock is off. The Blue Devils can dribble it out, and for the 2nd year in a row, defeat Point Park by double digits, and for the 2nd year in a row, go 2-0 in this LTU Tip-Off Classic. Head coach Kylene Biggs and company still undefeated. We'll be back at it next Thursday with a matchup against Siena Heights. 70-56, your final here from the Don Riddler Fieldhouse. It was a pleasure to bring you this one. Signing off for the 2nd day in a row, I'm Jason Ross Jr., producer Kia Titus. More action for you on the LTU Sports Network later tonight with the hockey teams in action. This was fun, and it'll be fun all season. We still have 13 more of these to go. We'll see you next Thursday on LTSN for more women's basketball.